Good afternoon. I'm calling the House Committee on Consumer Protection and Commerce to order. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023, 3 p.m. We are in conference room 329. We'll be limiting testimony to 2 minutes. For those who are on Zoom, please mute yourself and keep your video off until it is your turn to testify. If you are having technical issues, please use the chat function to contact our IT staff so you can get that sorted out. First to testify. We are hearing SB 667 SD2 HD1 relating to nonprofit organizations. First to testify, we have Gary Suganuma, a director from Department of Taxation, with comments.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Gary Suganuma, Director of Taxation. The department stands on its written testimony providing comments. I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Don Weisman from the American Heart Association in support on Zoom. Not present, we'll be moving on to Lisa Murayama from the Hawaii Alliance of Nonprofit Organizations in support.
Hi. Good afternoon, Chair Nakashima, Vice Chair Sayama, and members of the committee. I'm Lisa Maruyama, and I'm with the Hawaii Alliance of Nonprofit Organizations. And we stand, of course, in strong support of this bill. I would just like to highlight very quickly 3 points from this bill. This particular bill is proposing an exemption on taxes for fundraising revenue for charitable nonprofit organizations. And this was a bill that ran through last year. I don't want to get into too much technical detail, but there was a little bit of concerns, and it was vetoed by the governor. And so this version of the bill, this vehicle going forward, this session actually has made modifications to the bill to clarify and address the concerns from the previous administration. We have been in conversation with Mr. Suganuma and his staff from DOTAX, and we think that we have an understanding of what the bill's intent is. I am happy to answer questions for you around the technicalities of that, but one of the reasons why this is an important bill to the nonprofit sector is because at the moment, federal law does exempt this type of revenue, and so this would provide conformity between state law and federal law around that. And as it exists, we are double taxed around this revenue because we pay tax on goods and services when we organize our fundraisers, and then we pay it again on gross revenue that we earn through these fundraisers. So we're being double taxed. And finally, and most importantly, the money that we are saving by not having to put forward this payment is actually going back to mission for the over 7,000 charitable nonprofits that exist statewide and are doing really good community work in strengthening our communities. So thank you for the opportunity to testify. Thank you to the chair for allowing for this additional hearing for us to be able to state our case. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Laura Thielen from Partners in Care in support on Zoom. Not present? Okay, we'll be moving on to Carla Hauser from RISE, Residential Youth Services and Empowerment in support on Zoom.
Aloha, Chair, honorable members of this committee, testifying in strong support for the exemptions for charitable nonprofits. As I'm sure you all know, our fundraising income provides vital resources towards our mission, and we are in strong favor of this. Mahalo for your consideration and the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Tom Yamachika from the Tax Foundation of Hawaii with comments on Zoom.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Tom Yamachika from Tax Foundation of Hawaii. We have submitted written comments. We'll largely stand on those. I will mention that I was in the Zoom meeting with Director Suganuma that Ms. Maruyama mentioned from Hano. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, technical or otherwise, that the committee may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Ryan Kusumoto from the Parents and Children's Together in support. Oh.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair Nakashima, Vice Chair Sayama, members of the committee. My name is Trisha Kajimura here on behalf of Parents and Children Together. I just wanted to express that we're in support of this bill as active members of the nonprofit community and Hano. And this bill is very important to us. It'll help us more efficiently accomplish our mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ryan Katalani from Family Promises of Hawaii in support.
Aloha, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ryan Katalani, the Executive Director of Family Promise of Hawaii. We are in strong support, and in addition to our written testimony, I just wanted to offer one quick observation. Our GET tax burden is not even the biggest of any nonprofit, but every little bit goes a long way. And actually, the amount of GET that we've paid in recent years, let me back up. Family Promise is a nonprofit that serves families with children experiencing homelessness. So the amount of GET that we've paid in recent years actually would have been enough to help one or two more families get back into permanent housing. We believe every child deserves a home, and with homelessness in such a crisis point across the state, every dollar we can deploy to helping families achieve stable housing is crucial. Thank you again for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Cynthia Al from the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network in support.
Thank you so much, Chair Nakashima, Vice Chair Sayama, and committee members. Cynthia Al on behalf of the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network and ACS CAN stands in strong support of SB 667, SD2, HD1. I wanted to first thank the committee for hearing this bill and continuing the conversation. Nonprofit organizations rely on fundraising efforts to use towards mission-related purposes. The American Cancer Society uses funds through social galas and other events for cancer research grants, patient services, cancer information through our website, a 24-hour hotline, as well as to support the operations of the Clarence T.C. Ching Hope Lodge Hawaii, which provides free lodging for cancer patients and caregivers traveling to Oahu for treatment. Since 2016, the Hope Lodge in Honolulu, Hawaii has hosted thousands of guests from all over Hawaii and across the Pacific region. Hope Lodge's 20 beds serves 800 guests, approximately 800 guests a year. 400 are cancer patients and 400 are caregivers. Annually, the lodge provides approximately 9,250 patient nights of lodging, saving guests more than $2.2 million each year in lodging alone. Again, is completely free of charge to cancer patients and their caregivers when their treatment requires that they stay on Oahu, and transportation from Hope Lodge to their treatment is also provided at no cost. Without Hope Lodge Hawaii, patients pay an average hotel cost of $238. For a course of radiation that might be more than 30 days, the cost of lodging may and because of the cost of lodging, they may forego treatment altogether. So currently, the distribution of island residents is 58% Big Island, 15% from Maui, 14% from Kauai, 7% from Molokai, and the remainder are residency from Lanai, Guam, and America's Samoa and other Pacific islands. Hope Lodge of Hawaii does not receive any Hawaii state grant in aid or city and county grants.
My apologies, the 2-minute time limit is up, but you could please summarize your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every dollar raised goes towards the mission. Mahalo for hearing this important bill.
Thank you. Next, we have Deborah Zeisman from the Hawaii Children's Action Network speaks in support on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Deborah Zeisman, Executive Director of Hawaii Children's Action Network speaks. We'll stand on our written testimony, but just wanted to appear today in strong support of this measure, both on behalf of our own nonprofit organization, as well as the dozens, if not hundreds, of organizations that serve children and families across our state that we help to represent. Thank you so much for considering the measure.
Thank you. Next, we have Cassandra Abdul from the Housing and Land Enterprise of Maui in support on Zoom. Not present, we'll be moving on to Nancy Creedman from the Domestic Violence Action Center in support.
Aloha. Thank you for taking the opportunity to listen to the voices of the community that serves our island state. We're standing on our written testimony, and of course we're all here to answer any questions that may arise in the course of the conversation or that occur to you while we're all present. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Next we have Suzanne Schold from the Aloha United Way in support on Zoom.
Aloha, Suzanne Schold, Aloha United Way. Chair and Vice Chair, thank you for taking the time to hear all the community voices. Aloha United Way has over 250 members from the nonprofit community. To our knowledge, there's nobody that opposes this. This is a bill that will widely help many nonprofits fulfill their mission and have critical dollars that are unrestricted So we stand on our testimony in strong support of this bill, and thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Caroline Kunitake, individual in support on Zoom. Not present. We'll be moving on to Marcia Schweitzer, individual in support on Zoom. Not present. We'll be moving on to Susan M. Slavish, individual in support on Zoom. Not present. Are there any other persons here to testify on this measure or on Zoom?
Yes,
Okay, let's start with Judith Clark. Please go ahead.
yes. I'm not sure what happened. I was on the list to testify. I'm Judith Clark with Hawaii Youth Services Network, a statewide coalition of youth-serving organizations. We are in strong support of this bill. It will literally benefit thousands of nonprofit organizations and the hundreds of thousands of children, youth, families in Kapuna that they serve. The funds now paid in taxes would increase the amount of funding that meets the health, human service, and educational needs of our most vulnerable residents. Nearly everyone in Hawaii has been touched in one way or another by a nonprofit organization, and making more of their funds from fundraisers available to provide the essential services will benefit all of us. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Are there any other persons on Zoom wishing to testify on this measure?
Yes, Chair. This is Don Weissman with American Heart Association.
Please go ahead.
And you've got our written testimony. I'd just like to emphasize that much of the fundraising that is done for the American Heart Association in Hawaii is led by volunteer leaders. And the support of this bill would help to amplify their work to reduce heart disease and stroke, which are the leading causes of death and disability in our state. So we hope that you will support it. Mahalo.
Thank you. Are there any other persons on Zoom to testify on this measure? No? Members, any questions? Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Not a question, but I just wanted to thank all of the nonprofits that came out to testify on this. I'm so glad we were able to find some language and that it's going to continue for discussion's sake, hopefully. But I did want to especially thank Ms. Maruyama of Hano. I know that this has been something that you've been leading the charge on, so thank you. I think this is an important measure.
Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll be taking a short recess for decision making. Recess.
Okay, thank you very much. Reconvening the Committee on Consumer Protection and Commerce for decision making. It's Thursday, March 23rd, 2023, 3 o'clock in conference room 329. The measure before us, Senate Bill 667, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1, linked to nonprofit organizations. Chair's recommendation is that we move this unamended. Members, any questions or comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair, unamended.
Voting on SB 667 SD2 HD1, Chair's recommendation is to pass as is. Chair, Vice Chair, vote aye. Representative Amato. Excused. Representative Bellotti.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Right here. Representative Hashem. Excused. Representative Hussey Burdick.
Aye.
Representative Gates.
Aye.
Representative Lowen. Excused. Representative Onishi.
Aye.
Representative Tam.
Aye.
Representative Purick.
Aye.
Thank you, Chair. Your recommendation is
Okay,
adopted.
thank you very much. We are adjourned.